More politics.
Blueprints for 3D printed AR-15 semi-automatic rifles have been downloaded more than 2,500 times.
Ghost guns and the technology needed to make them, a 3D printer and access to the internet.
Anybody could purchase one of these on the internet. This is not regulated.
These guns require no background checks. They're undetectable. They're untraceable.
I mean, once it's out there, it's out there.
Untraceable.
The gun is easy to make in Europe. Fuck this dystopia. We're fucking gun control.
Hey guys, hold on real quick. Banned by Andy. 521. I wanted to show you guys one of the other ones, but I think it might have already been done. That I wanted to use as an example. You think about the fact Biden sent 225 million to Hamas, rockets started raining down, Israel started to load. As you see, it evolves. Don't worry, see how the political game is being played. The U.S. military industrial complex is really the only profiteur. The MSM, the scare propaganda towards us, the population. Same with the corona. Okay. They have their cameras on tripods, man. Are you, as you see. So. Learn to realize what you did wrong and why you were. Fun. Okay. 3D guns are so hard to make, like it's a complicated process. People are making it to be much scarier than it is. In my own opinion, I just happen to know that leftist boogs have explained it to me. It's true. There are, it's not necessarily always cost effective. Some people own 3D printers. I have family that do, like, but there are aspects of it. However, I would say, like, overall, our giant gun lobby and the consequences of that are probably worse overall. What I wear every time I work on the computer, full black block.
So right now we're somewhere in Western Europe.
This is true.
I can't exactly say where we are because the guy we've come here to meet has been secretly 3D printing his own assault rifles. Now, obviously that is completely illegal here. Gun laws are very strict. And if this guy is caught manufacturing untraceable firearms, which is what he's doing, he's gonna get sent to prison for a very long time. I've spoken to him about this. He's aware of the risks and he's agreed to meet with us anyway. So hopefully he's gonna explain to us why he's 3D printing his own guns and to tell us about the network he's a part of that is helping him do this. The network is called Deterrence Dispense. They're global, all over the world. And basically their main aim is to make it impossible for authorities anywhere to stop people having a gun. This is Deterrence Dispensed. They're a decentralized 3D printed gun network. Their gun designs are freely available online and have been downloaded hundreds of thousands of times according to their spokesman.
I feel like this is going to end with this. It's like one of my favorite memes. I'm extremely peaceful. Yeah, it is it. It is it. Holy shit. I didn't notice that. Hold on, look. It's Popular Front. That's hilarious. That's amazing. I just seen that as a meme, and then my friend recommended me this group, so that's funny. I see that alt-right can also exploit it. Yeah, and that scares me. Yeah, we should touch on the only time the NRA wanted to ban assault rifles and why they wanted to. Yeah, I mean, it was for the Black Panther Party, because black people wanted to access more gun rights. Once black people started holding such weapons, then they were like, "Oh no, we need to watch who's carrying these guns around." It's certainly a little nerve-wracking to see guns so easily accessible, even more so than it currently is. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, this is coming from a guy, I enjoy shooting guns. Like, absolutely I do. But like, I think there's a lot of common sense stuff in here. It's not too hard to...
Deterrence dispensed has been incorrectly characterized online as either a far-right organization or a political anarchist group. They're neither. In fact, they don't have any specific ideology other than unconditional free speech and the absolute freedom for anyone to own a firearm. Deterrence dispensed are brazenly spreading these ideas and their downloadable gun instructions all over the world. There are thousands in their community, mostly based in America, where 3D printed guns are legal. However, these guns have spread to Western Europe. 3D printed semi-automatic rifles that take 9mm rounds. They're robust, they don't blow up in your hands, and they're untraceable. They can be made in someone's bedroom. At Popular Front, we managed to get access to the founder of Deterrence Dispensed, a man known as Jay Stark. He lives and operates in Europe.
They do look
Jay
a little
Stark
silly,
agreed
but that
to
doesn't
meet
mean that
us
it's
on
not
the condition
effective,
that we
though.
protect his identity and exact location.
Now it is, isn't it?
So don't worry.
Which part
Almost kind of looks like a paintball gun, the bulkiness of it.
and which parts are metal?
Just like any bullpup.
Printed,
Yeah.
printed. That's basically what you see
My
from
mom
this
had
side.
like this
So
old
about
wire.
80% of it is 3D
I have to
printed.
talk about it. Like my mom had this wire 22, only shot one shot, but you like would break it in half, then you put in the bullet and snap it in. She called it her poachin' rifle. My life in Corbett and shit like that.
You could say
in
that, yeah.
Oregon.
About 80%, yeah.
So firstly, explain to us why you're doing this. Why are you 3D printing untraceable firearms?
I'm of the opinion that to bear firearms is a human right. The government or the entity that has the rule over you has an executive force, the police, the military, they have firearms. To be able to escape that injustice, they need to have the same force on an individual level as the executive force of the government entity that is ruling over them. So this is my ideological reasoning. And then a different reason why I am risking everything to be able to own and bear firearms is because I am extremely enthusiastic about them. They are a hobby of mine. I'm extremely interested about its history, the technology, and there are certain circumstances in my life which are unfortunate and which make living kind of painful. And sometimes I do not have anything to look forward to. Most people usually have something that they...
Yeah, I agree. The problem is that those
cannot,
most of the
risk-
time are those guns are used on other citizens, not government forces for protection. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a big thing that really bothers me is this idea of like the good guy with a gun, because no matter what, like my whole thing is I'm more okay with you having a gun if you've been psychologically evaluated, and I don't need it to be always like people in the sticks. I actually understand it being lighter restrictions on them because there's less of a need, but in the city to have a weapon, in my personal opinion. But I think the more training, the better. And I'd rather have you trained, but these good guy with a gun examples. Fines. Thank you. Coming in with the subscription. That's so kind of you, my man. Thank you so much. By the way, I know I've... Oh, and by the way, that was Raven, by the way. Thank you for gifting that sub. Yeah, they've gifted 2 subs in the channel. Dope, dope. No, thank you for gifting Fines that that sub as well. I know I already Oh, you know what? I don't know if I can. Yeah. Fines is also a great streamer. Thank you, Raven, for giving him a sub. That's awesome. Not gun ban, but gun control. Agreed. No, absolutely agreed. I think that's something that we need to really think about, and dependent on need, but also training. Like, I very much take the idea, like the well-trained militia aspect from in the Second Amendment. I think people should be well-trained, because I think when they're well-trained in their weapons, they're less likely to do something idiotic with them. The fact that is that we have Raven is the man. Yes, it's true. The fact is, though, is that we have a problem with so much ease of accessibility from, like, most of these shooters will buy their guns legally, like, not too long before they commit their shooting. So, like, I think what it needs to be is something that is more just people with training, people who've been evaluated with their weapons with guns. I know Narco Taco brings up community safes, like, and I don't know, like, I'm for, like, somebody having a weapon in their household, especially to protect their household if it's out in the middle of nowhere. But we have to, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but, like, away from police, away from firemen, away from things that might make it harder to defend yourself with any police forces. But the way that we treat it now is just ridiculous. I don't own one because I know that I have the potential to hurt myself, so I really feel like people should be evaluated to get them, or have legality suspended until they can pass one if they attempt to or do hurt themselves or someone else wanted to. Yeah, no, I agree. I think a big thing for me that gets me is, like, there's so many people that don't have the proper training and can't really fail when they also have children that don't understand the proper safety of these weapons, the fact that they are weapons. Like, for me, like, a big term is for me to use is the term weapon, because that's how I learned about it in the military, and that's how I feel like it should be treated. Like, when I say it's, like, it's a very military thing to say, like, control your weapon. You don't call it a gun. You might call it a rifle or something like that, but it's your weapon, because that's what it is. Let's not joke around with it. Let's be honest here. That is a weapon designed to kill. Handguns, generally, humans. Rifles, be for hunting, but also killing humans. But no matter what, you can play target practice or trap shooting, and that is a sport, but at the end of the day, that weapon is designed to kill. It is a weapon. And I think these distinctions, these ways of treating them, and this discipline is needed for those who think that they should be able to bear a weapon. Like, I think felons should have the right to a psychological evaluation to earn their rights depending on the crime and what outcome is. Yes, people should have to pass some classes. Agreed. We reacting tonight? Yes, we are, Proletariat Parrot. If you got some stuff, drop it in content, you know? We're just chilling, vibing, watching some fun stuff. But yeah, no, thank you for coming by, Parrot. This is my rifle, this is my gun. Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff for, but with me, I have nothing to lose.
This is for fighting,
So
this is for
that's why
fun.
It is fairly easy for me to risk everything and to be able to accept the risk to die at any time, basically.
So you just said then, like, you know, you're willing to die for this. Like, really? Like, if the police come in here now,
what's going on,
they
Fines?
raided you got caught.
Hold on, Fines. I'm guessing you just saw that you got a gifted sub from my boy Raven. But I also wanted to shout out both Fines and I already did, but I'm going to shout them all out again. My buddy Talarks, my buddy Raven in chat. Raven was so kind and gifted us subs to Fines. Fines as well is another new streamer that's doing some real cool content. Of course, welcome. You're too nice today. Fuck off. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my chat.
Somehow, like, what? You're gonna fight them or what?
Basically,
go away. Timing
yes,
you out for 30 seconds.
Or die. These are not empty words.
Maybe explain to us how you got into 3D printed guns. Like, what you're doing is very technical. There's a long history of 3D printed guns, like in America, for example. We're not in America. How did this all start for you?
So, as you probably might know, a 3D printed pistol was shown to the world in
Pepe Law,
2013
yeah.
by an entity called Defense Distributed. It's basically a company that was founded by Cody Wilson, an American from Texas who was studying for a law degree. I saw this and I was intrigued. I was living in a country, I'm still living in a country where it's even impossible for you to acquire firearms. And so if I cannot buy it through legal or illegal way, I need to build it myself. And so this Liberator pistol piqued my interest. And then at one point, I found out about how 3D printers became increasingly more cheap. And I bought my first 3D printer. And at the same time, Defense Distributed, after they released this Liberator pistol, ran some sort of a web page where you were able to download various files for various gun designs and also 3D printed gun designs. When I looked at the files, I saw that everything was incomplete. And the parts that were modeled and the technical data that was available there and was in these files was absolutely shoddily modeled. It was absolutely not true to the real world. So it would be basically useless to try to use those files to produce any firearm. What I did then is I wanted to start a community that was enthusiastic about this topic as much as me. And so I posted Discord invite links into the comment sections of each of those.
This guy has a Discord. They have a whole what is it? Like me, Warframe 30K or whatever.
Webpage.
Feels like that's what these guys are doing. And they're making their
so
3D guns in the meantime.
A firearm which I'm able to defend myself against any
I'm getting real LARPy vibes.
Which I can be offensive with if there's any tyrant that wants to dictate his laws upon me.
Absolutely a LARP.
And so I was able to start that community. I invited everyone. And my goal was to build this community who was enthusiastic about this topic as much as me. I had no technical background, like I didn't study any engineering. I never used a 3D printer. And so from that moment on, I needed to teach myself how to use CAD software. What I did was I also went on to a recruiting hunt. We ended up with a core group of a couple dozen people who had all sorts of knowledge. And so me and Ivan basically then had this goal of making an AR-15 CAD assembly happen. So we worked day and night, day and night, day and night.
So you said before you had no technical expertise, you didn't know how to do this beforehand. How did you then teach yourself to use the 3D printed software? How did you get the printer? You eventually ended up making your own like lower for the rifle. How did you do all that?
The most useful tool for this in general was the internet. The internet enabled me to do all this. I was able to learn all the information that I needed through YouTube, through Wikipedia, through various forums, and through chatting with other enthusiasts. There's one thing that you really have to take in mind here: motivation. All this information is available out there, but why isn't everybody doing it? Because they don't have the motivation to do all that. I have a fierce motivation to do all that because of the reasons that I told you already.
Okay, so let's go back to Deterrence Dispense now, right? You're saying you started this new group. You did something quite different. So when Cody Wilson was doing his thing, it was all very like centralized. He was kind of controlling it. He had the files, which you say weren't even any good. The difference of what you're doing is it's completely decentralized, right? You're putting everything out there for free. You're inviting other people to do it. And I've seen you guys saying online, you know, we're killing gun control. We're pissing on the grave of gun control. Why did you decide, like, yeah, this has got to be decentralized? We want to put it to everybody.
It
still
makes
there,
sense
Raven, or did I time you out too long?
A single entity that is bound to a certain platform and can be destroyed at any time. The wonderful thing about our work is that we are mostly anonymous and we are sharing our knowledge and our information. So if somebody goes down, the other one continues working. You just have peer-to-peer networks.
I tried to. It never seems to work from my chat arena, to be honest.
Cannot be censored. If they are censored at one place, they pop up at another. And that's true also for us as individuals in terms of working for the cause. If something unfortunate happens to one individual, the other individual will take his place, and so on and so forth. It's a hydra that you cannot completely kill.
Wasn't going to only do it for the joke. Cool guns though, looks like from Cyberpunk. Yeah, a little bit, huh?
To stop.
And tell us about the FGC9. This is this rifle here, right? This one that you've constructed yourself. What's so special about this?
We're going to watch this while I'm gone. I'm sorry, guys.
The FGC9.
You're going to be running that in like 5 minutes or so. That way.
Is a firearm
That way
is
it's on the
truly
hour.
effective for self-defense,
You can,
being offensive.
for an ad-free viewing
And at the
experience,
same
you can
time,
subscribe for
it's a
$49
firearm
or use your Twitch Prime
you're
if
able
your
to build
Prime
yourself
account
as
is
an
connected
average
to your Twitch
Joe
account,
with
or
no
click that
specialized
link that I
tooling,
posted
with
in
no
the
special knowledge.
chat below to get a ad blocker.
And the ammunition.
But you guys
the
got a few
bullets,
minutes. Give me a sec.
Where do they come from?
I make the cartridges. I basically assemble them.
Can you show us?
Sure.
So explain to us, what are you doing here? Why do you have to make your own ammunition?
Basically, to get ammo in Europe, you either need to make it yourself or buy it illegally. Buying it illegally is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to get a hold of someone who won't scam you, who isn't law enforcement. So you have to make the ammo yourself. And so to do that, I have this priming tool.
This round here goes in this 3D printed rifle.
Exactly. Now you could do something with this one, if you wanted to. To make an FGC-9, you would need around, I'd say, 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks.
That quick?
Yes.
Whilst at his workshop, Jay Stark also showed us how he designed the FGC-9 on his computer. We can't show everything, but this was essentially the core of deterrence dispensed.
Share stream, I know. I should have other links up too. It's a chill stream today. Sorry, Fines. Their streams are the best streams. Yeah, I'll be right back.
My ideology is shaped in such a way where I think this should be the reality for everyone. I'm of the opinion that freedom and liberty are more important than security, and that's why I'm risking that we have a little bit less of security for reign of freedom. I'm extremely peaceful.
So we've just got back from Jay Stark's workshop where he 3D prints his guns. What he's doing is incredible on one level, but also unbelievably dangerous. He's not just building these guns for himself, he's telling other people everybody should do this. He's trying to...
I know!
My ideology is shaped in such a way where I think this should be the reality for everyone. I'm of the opinion that freedom and liberty are more important than security, and that's why I'm risking that we have a little bit less of security for reign of freedom. I'm extremely peaceful.
I'm very tactical.
So we've just got back from Jay Stark's workshop where he 3D prints
I got 1 minute until I'm running that 2-minute ad.
What he's doing is
so that we have
incredible
31
on
minutes
one level, but
pre-rolls turned off so people can enter in without any ads experiences.
Also unbelievably dangerous. He's not just building these guns for himself, he's telling other people everybody should do this. He's trying to encourage other people to do it. Could cause a lot of mayhem, honestly.
True. Especially a lot of people that don't know what the fuck that they're doing.
The next
That's
day,
the other issue.
Jay Stark sent us a set of coordinates and told us to meet him there as soon as possible. He arrived with 2 FGC-9s in a bag and led us into a forest. En route, Jay Stark told us more about the reach of deterrence dispensed.
Our group, our
Terrence
decentralized group, is very
what a fucking
diverse.
weird name.
There's lots of international members. And like I already said, when we push our design files up there, it's not only for among our group, but for everybody else outside of our group. Everybody around the world, man. We try to spread the truth, man, spread the message.
Ideologically, other than the idea that everyone should own firearms, do you know, like, politically, right there, come and take it. Do you know politically what kind of people are in your group?
I mean, we roll this way. So our group
Is this for last? It was too hard for Discord. I'm sitting on Messenger. Sounds good.
And people who would try to infringe these rights.
Running that 2-minute ad break right now, guys.
From a certain ethnic group or from a certain political group, these people we do not like. We kind of don't like extremists because they usually start a fierce conversation, a debate. We don't like that. We actually like to discuss actual designing firearms, actually advancing the cause, actually focusing on the actual proper things and not about politics. But in general, we do not like racists, we do not like
feel that.
xenophobes. We just like people who just are for the cause of the right to bear arms and for freedom of speech.
Right, and do you do some kind of vetting process or something?
So basically, we let everybody in, but if they act up, we kick them.
So just hypothetically here, bear with me. Imagine, say, imagine some.
Well, it's a lot more places are wearing masks and stuff like that, or a lot less wearing masks. The recent follower, his name, if you guys saw it, it was like, I'm gonna just say it for now because it was already up there, but don't wear a mask. Just because of that and how that could be interpreted in many different ways, I've taken that follower off until a new follower comes up. Just an FYI. Zeron, what's going on, my guy? Hey, Seaweed, want to hear something awesome? I'm now working on an awesome story idea. Oh yeah? Like what?
Somehow,
This thing that
remember
popped the-
ISIS just entered your group. They
apocalyptic
didn't
Western?
speak about
That's always
politics.
fun.
They didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But they added, say they were like, oh, we're helping you build the rifles. I mean, what, you would just let them stay or what?
Look, if we have no idea that the extremists or racists or ISIS, how the fuck would we tell if they're actually there?
There's somebody in chat. They can DM me on Discord or whatever. There was recently some really cool fan art about Seaweed Chan, our character for the stream. If you're okay with me sharing it, let me know. You can just DM me. But I just saw that picture. I would definitely want to share it.
Like if they never
Basically,
talk about
it makes me
politics,
think a
if
lot
they
about
never
Cowboys and Aliens, Zeron. That would be awesome.
show
Though.
any indication of xenophobia or being zealots, how the fuck are we supposed to know that we have
How
to
you
kick
been,
them out?
Zeron?
But if they do show through that there are
Would
extremists,
have to be Black
racists,
Winchester.
Islamic
Interesting.
terrorists, then we would kick them out. And
Have to share with it. I can do some film critique stuff with you if you'd like. How long do you want it to be?
Basically,
Is it a
stop
novel or
all-
is it a script?
all
or
work
been good?
and,
Good.
all communication with them.
But you don't think it's dangerous to not already know? Like there might be, those guys might be in your group, you have no
What you
idea.
have to realize is the advancement of technology has no politics. And the atom bomb, chemical weapons,
Hello. That's a weird way to open up.
DIY rocket launchers, IEDs, whatever, if it's bad or good technology, it has no politics. So I don't really see the point in your question.
So you don't really care about who's in or who's not.
We do care. We do care.
But you, I mean, if you don't
On
know,
Deadwood? That's good.
then it's like,
That's the internet. Everybody can hide behind
No, I
a
mean,
certain
that's fine. But I don't. It's a little, like Fine says, it's a little weird, champ, to be, like coming in saying, hello, Gentiles. It's fine that you're Jewish, my friend. Welcome to the stream. It was just a little weird coming in how you did that. By the way, New York is incentivizing vaccines by giving scholarships, FYI. I've been hearing a lot of cool stuff like that. A lot of them think it's a decent way to get people, like, if it's more important for, like, watch out, or if there comes incentives with it, they might do it. I'm Jewish, and that is weird. Hey, Drunk Physics, nice to talk to you again. Yeah, it just comes off a little trolly, friend. You call everyone not Jewish Gentile. I'm Jewish, and that is weird. Wait, what? Hold on.
persona. And they can stay hidden for a long time with their real identity. And only after they reveal themselves, you can
Wait, what?
actually take action.
you were
Oh my
saying
God,
like, you
really?
don't want extremists. Some people
What
will
the
see this
fuck?
and they'll think
Ay, ay, ay. Are we doing this now? Like, what is this? I mean, yeah, but it's also just like a weird way to single everyone out. You know what I mean? Friendly banter is fine, my person, but like, it just seems like you're already coming out trying to be kind of like exclusionary. Yeah, account made 2 days ago too. Thank you for that. Yeah. We have different purposes? What does that even mean? I don't understand. Yeah, seriously.
You're an extremist, maybe not an Islamic
You have
extremist,
different
maybe not
purposes.
a right wing
Okay.
or whatever, but they will think you're some kind of gun extremist. I mean, what would you say to that?
So if other people see us as extremists, that's okay. But what I can tell is, we do
Yeah,
not
I think
want
that's,
harm to
I agree
anyone.
with drunk physics here. It's just a little odd. Like, it just feels like you're kind of coming in like trying to, I don't mean to say othering. I mean, I'm obviously like a cishet white dude. Like, I'm not too offended by it. It's just kind of like a weird way to come out of conversation. If you read the Talmud and my religious texts that matter, Muslim, Hindu, and Christian, that's a weird way of putting that too. Jews are the chosen people. We serve a different purpose for God. Okay. Yes, because the Quran is pro-Israel. I don't know why he's preaching, my guys. Hold on, I just... All right.
We want everyone to live peacefully amongst each other. And we want people to have the freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. And if that's too politically extreme,
Don't get too angsty, everyone. Let them talk. As long as it's not blatantly like offensive to anyone, okay? It's a little weird. I will absolutely say that, but like, let's not get on people about beliefs. Just don't be prescriptive, ghetto shite about people's roles in society.
for you,
Please. That's all.
fuck yourself. All your rights go away like that.
No, I just think it's an odd way of coming into conversation. No, I
And
agree,
that's why
Raven. I'm not.
I
Look,
need to
keep
wake people
talking,
up,
man.
and we need to
This is a
go
little
onto
weird
the
way to
offensive
talk to
because
people.
people are asleep on this issue. They are not realizing what's at stake here. That gun control is getting stricter and stricter, and governments are getting more tyrannical, more tyrannical. China's already a fucking living nightmare. We gotta go on the offensive.
Raven, read
man.
your DMs
Time is
real
running
quick.
out.
It's just a private question I was
extreme
asking you.
dystopia out there.
Should we keep going? Let's go.
Making up charges to arrest
Apparently,
someone.
it was
Really?
time to
I'll
test
definitely take
fire
a
the
look. Dropping it in
rifles.
there. Or DM me if you'd like. If it doesn't dox anyone or anything, of course.
I'm on fire. We're ready, hot. We're hot.
Christ. How do you feel firing that now?
Shooting it yourself out in the open instead of just the basement or something, that's a really cool thing to do. And smelling the gunpowder.
Why should I care if you call me Gentile? I am a Gentile. Actually, I'm pagan, so furthest away from Jewish there is. The basic concept for the story is that one character, a child in a residential school, develops the ability to turn fiction into reality. And a whole... Kind of reminds me of the Never-Ending Story. And a whole lot of creatures from native folklore, which I shall be researching for actual accuracy. But it sounds fun. Like, it sounds like a twist on it. This ability ends up spreading to random children overnight. That's pretty cool. A lot of anti-Semitism coming from the left and the far right recently. I agree, Ghetto Shite. It is concerning. This is something that... Holy crap. Real quick, in response to your DM, Raven, I had no clue about that. That's actually really cool. But no, I agree. I talk about Israel and Palestine and the Palestinian plight, but as well as our last stream was talking about anti-Semitism, and I agree. It is amongst leftist circles. We're trying to talk about some of the better ways to address it, as well as to still be able to hold on to our criticisms of the state while also trying to separate that and make sure we're not talking about a people as well. And I think that's very important. I do agree that it is concerning. It is your choice. You're still going. Oh my gosh, my guy.
It didn't blow your hands off.
Here's the thing, Ghetto Shite. Like, people like Nazis use terms like goyim to say like things like goyim uprising and whatnot like that. Engaging in this language that is like excluding others makes it easier for other people to weaponize that type of rhetoric and dialogue.
Do you know what is weird though for me to see how we went from your little workshop, 3D printed, it's gone
That's
from
fine, but I'm just saying that like a lot of the same type of language is used by Nazis to talk about like Goyim uprisings and stuff. You othering others that are not Jewish helps the supremacists and the crazy fucking Nazis develop a language to help support their narrative. That's what I'm saying. It's fine that it's your language. I'm not saying that it's necessarily wrong to say, but it is otherwise othering, which doesn't, I don't think, help anyone gain allies. And it only helps the people that are radically against our movements of equality for Jewish people, for Palestinian people, for anyone. I think that's important to take into consideration. No, I agree that Nazis appropriated it. It's not like they invented the word. You know what I mean? I absolutely agree, and I think it's important to do. But don't you understand that, like, when you're calling me a Goyim, it's like me saying, like, obviously it's still accurate if I called you a Jew, but if I said it in a weird way, wouldn't you maybe, like, take a feeling that I'm, like, othering you? Like, putting you into a separate camp? Like, when people say, like, put adjective before the word Jew? Like, you know what I mean? And I know you didn't. So let me just clarify that. I know you didn't, but I'm just saying, like, we're just all people, my man. Like, so let's just refer to each other as that. Like, and I'd rather call you like a Jewish viewer or a Jewish friend or something like that. You know what I mean? Rather than calling you a something Jew. And I feel like these words are used in that way and taken up by other people. But I think it's fair to say that, like, I don't want to other anyone into like this separate camp. I'm not looking for any ethnostates on any type of lines. You know what I mean? Goyim is plural. Yeah, this is oh yeah. Oh, and then Gentile singular. Is that right? Drunk physics. It was set in 1896, just as the Great Klondike Gold Rush began the U.S. economic depression. That's pretty dope, man. You as a non-Jew don't face discrimination. No, I absolutely agree. I'm not denying that at all. Stop trolling, going into a random streamer's chat and being a douche is an activism. This is also true, but I don't see people batting an eye when a black person says whitey. Jews are the ones being policed for their language. Let's just look. No one's gonna say anything because, like, it makes me think of this Louis C.K. joke. You know, think what you might of him, but he was like, "What is somebody gonna do? Call me a cracker? Like, you're just taking me back to the time that other white people owned whips and things like that." Like, I understand. Like, whitey isn't like a strong slur. Like, there's no real strong slur against white people. And I don't mean to deny that of anyone, but I'm just saying it's a little, as everyone else kind of said, a little weird, champ, when that's like how you came into this conversation, because it's automatically removing me from your own struggles, where I would much rather be an advocate and ally amongst your struggles, but you're already coming in here and saying, hey, what's going on, Gentiles? It's like, okay, we get it. Like, and that's fine, but I want to be an ally to you, my man. Like, I promise you, I do. I don't agree. I think coming in and saying, hey, non-Jew, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, I think physics, drunk physics has a valid point here. I felt like that's kind of what it felt like to me. Let's talk about it on like a personal level. Like, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like you came in here and wanted to make it very specific that I'm not Jewish. And that's fine that I'm not Jewish. I should listen to you and hear some of your takes on these things. That's totally acceptable. That's totally fine. It just felt a little odd. You know what I mean? Like, I don't come to you. Well, I shouldn't, right? I shouldn't come to you and just be like, hey, what up, Jew? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's just a weird way to approach somebody. Fuck, the files are going to be too big. I'll send them on. Okay, no problem, Moonbat. Stop being a douche, my man. He can be a douchebag all day and say nothing. And until it doesn't have a significant historical context, but why are you being categorized by your religious beliefs? Is it, yeah.
from the workshop, seeing you crimp the ammo, and now seeing it fired, it's almost
By the
like,
way, Drunk
wow, it's
Physics,
real.
thanks for coming back. I know the last stream was a little rough. I wanted to pay more attention to it and discuss a little bit more in depth, but I was just playing Valheim, so I apologize for that. But thank you for coming back and contributing. Yeah, but why are you being categorized as being a douchebag? And please make it clear he, as an individual, is the problem, not the parts of his identity. I agree. Like, it's just, hold on, Zero, about calling just everyone a douchebag. Being Jewish isn't defined by the religion alone. Agreed. We're currently being the problem. Zeron. I don't think that's really the problem. Yeah, let's hold back a little bit on our conversation, okay? Gentile is literally used by religious Jews. Yes. Wasn't a fan of being assaulted. I tried my best to stay civil, but I was then being accused of being a sea lion. I do think that the person that was coming in here, they were new to my chat. You both followed. I can't say it's not maybe going to happen again. We'll see what happens when that does. My whole thing is trying to be cautious enough and letting people speak their minds without it devolving into slurs or other hateful rhetoric. That's why I let you guys continue. Like I said, I was a little distracted with Valheim, so I apologize. But I want to learn, you know, like I said, I'm very much feel for the Palestinian plight, like we talked originally. But there's also other aspects that I don't realize that are very sensitive topics for very valid reasons, which I tried to talk about earlier before with that anti-Semitism stream and talking about conspiracism and the elders of Zion propaganda and bullshit like that. But none of these conflicts, none of the things that we're going to talk about in regards to politics are ever so easily like shades of gray. I mean, that's what they really are compared to like black and white, right? And that's why I definitely respect other Jewish people coming in here and talking about it. I definitely do. And I know that like Ghetto Shite and you as well, Drunk Physics, have brought up is that there is a lot of anti-Semitism on the left, and it's something that we have to be very cautious of and be very careful about with how we talk about. We discuss any of that with you. I study these topics a lot in a lot of detail. Is that in response to me? This is something that I wouldn't mind eventually talking to you about, but I'd like to get a little bit more together and like pulling sources and stuff like that together. I mean, I don't know if you're talking to me to Ghetto Shite, but like, I mean, I fully recognize my privilege and what I've been able to get from literally my upper hand in society. I know this for a fact. There's a lot of things that like I did grow up in poor parts of my family, but I've been also very lucky to have someone help get me where I'm at right now. I'm more than comfortable talking about my privilege. It's just more of like, again, how you entered this chat. Words in my mouth to make like anti-Semitic dickweeds. We have mutual friends that are Jewish, not anti-Semitic. Your religion doesn't give you a right to property. Cry higher, but okay. Jesus, sorry, I've not been fully keeping up with chat. There's been a lot going on. He's beating a chud right now, and regardless that is simple, just ban him. Yeah, this very potentially I will. Okay. Here's the thing. Ghetto Shite. I'm going to time you out for 8 hours. Mainly because you're getting a lot of people to act up right now. Normally I wouldn't necessarily mind it, but a lot of people are feeling a certain way towards you right now. Thank you for the follow. That's very kind. I am more than happy for you to come back. We'll talk about this again. I apologize that it just has to go this way right now. Hold on. Come back. We'll talk more. But I don't want you to think that it's because of, it's more of everyone kind of feeling like they're being a little trolled right now. And maybe when you come back another stream, maybe it will be a little bit different, and we'll see from there. Okay. I'm trying to keep up with all of the chat. I can tell you I am not. So like, that's my main reason. So I apologize for that. But I agree, physics. I'm not like so upset. I don't think that he came here and attacked me. I just think it was a little weird, like we said, or a little rude. And that's why I wanted to just do it as a timeout. Mainly because everyone had a lot of opinions and I have not been able to look at all of the chat logs. So I apologize. But I agree with you, Drunk Physics. I don't think he came in here to like necessarily attack me. Thank you. He followed literally right as I timed him out. So if you keep up with that, thank you. If you keep up and come by and follow again, view it this time as nothing personal. It won't be held against you. Just because there was a lot of stuff going on in chat and I want to take a look before I make any decisions. But that way we can keep on track. So I apologize. I know that may seem silly, but you think it's a fair decision? Okay, thank you. It's really just to keep chat back in line. I'm more than happy for them to come back and chat. But it just, chat seemed a little... No, Drunk Physics, your opinion does count because you are the people watching the stream, which I dictate a lot of like what am I showing to the audience that I'm showing it to. So thank you. No, honestly, it helps me because this is sometimes a thing that I have a hard time trying to decide. Who do I ban and or who do I time out? Things like this are tough. So thank you. I'm glad that you guys think it's fair. Shite, if you're still here, please come back again. I'm more than happy to talk. It just felt a little weird, and I think it made some people pushed little people the wrong way. It did push me a little wrong way too, but like I don't mean it to be discriminatory towards you. And I hope we can talk more. So anyways, I think we're done with that. But I don't think we need to be that aggressive with bans either. Agreed with Raven. Of course, it's not really up to me though, just my opinion. Oh, I get you. No, and I agree. I think we need to be very cautious about how we do that. Because I want people that would not maybe normally have their ears open to new ideas or other things, for them to still feel comfortable expressing new ideas. And that is the very hard aspect of moderating. The first stream I haven't been banned on from an Israel-Palestine conflict discussion, so I think you're quite fair. Well, thank you, Drunk. Just because you were a minority doesn't mean hatred is acceptable. Agreed. I don't know if I would necessarily count it as hatred. I would say it was oppositional, though.
That would kill someone. That could kill a lot.
Just like this.
Peppered with casings. Yep, just like that. Yep, yeah, just like that.
The point is,
there's potential, and this is why I want to check out the chat logs later. So, and I will. But yeah, no, and I agree with Talorx. This is something that, as you might have noticed, I try to be very cautious with my rhetoric. And I've also had a hard time covering it because it carries a lot of weight and a lot of history and a lot of baggage. That's why I so comfortably like to point towards people like Aristocracy TV, who is quite versed in this subject and I think is well worth checking out. And she has many different shades of gray of view on this this situation, much more than I do, as she is a history grad student. So when I talk about this, I want it to come from we're both learning together type of perspective. There's a lot of history in that region and a lot of people suffering on both sides. And that aspect is where it is, both sides. There is suffering. The question is, how do we get people to stop suffering? And who has the power to do that? And that's where I think the important question is. Even when I'm not careful at all, the way I see it, history may create the present, but it does not justify it. Agreed. I'm very polite when I discuss the topic. I don't get banned for being rude. I get banned for having my opinion. And I'm sorry that's been your experience, Drunk Physics. I could imagine, and I imagine that it's very easy for people to ban it. And that's why I try to, like we mentioned before, try to be careful of not being ban happy. It's very easy to see people that might seem like they're not acting in good faith, but they're just very emotional about something. You know what I mean? If you ever want to discuss with someone who is very sympathetic to Palestine, I'm not the type to get pissed at good faith beliefs. Agreed, Zeron. And drunk physics, like we mentioned before, I'm more than happy. Thank you, Zeron. Yeah, and I'm on this guy's Discord. Yes, yes, you are. And if we ever want to debate, it's debate, but it's debate or convo. And you can come into this channel, and we could more than happily love to talk about this type of stuff. Okay. So thank you as much, again, drunk physics, for coming back here. Since the last time, meant a lot, seriously. And I definitely appreciate different views than mine. So why two different Discords? The debate or convo one specifically goes to the debate or convo channel that is accessible to everybody. When the Discord is just the Discord, which you can enter, but like I have this so like you don't necessarily need to enter my server or be a part of the server. Yeah.
My rights
Yeah.
is by being able to protect myself against others who want to take my right away.
It's completely untraceable, right? There's no serial numbers, no nothing.
No serial numbers, no nothing.
Yeah. You could attack someone with that as well, though.
I could, and I also could protect myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I could protect myself.
Sure. Or attack.
Great power comes great responsibility. And it is unfair to take away the people's power because you think they do not are worthy of having that power.
Do you think you have a responsibility for who owns the gun?
I have a responsibility to make sure everybody has the option to be able to get a gun.
What about the way they use it?
The way they use it is up to them. If they want to do harm, it's on them. And once they did harm, then they forfeited their belonging in the peaceful community. There are extremists out there who are saying extremist phrases, and they are inciting hate. They should have freedom of speech. If I do not fight for the freedom of speech of somebody else who I do not agree with, then the next day somebody else will take away my freedom of speech. That's the same idea with the right to bear arms.
Right, but you can't kill someone with freedom of speech. You can kill someone with that.
It's not about killing somebody. It's about you yourself, protecting you yourself, and protecting you yourself from tyranny. Just look at the Uyghurs in China. Just look what's happening to them.
That's good, Zeron, and I think that's important.
Shit. You know what?
Sorry, I was gone there for a second.
Armed, that would be a deterrence.
I'm okay with people criticizing the government. I have issues with comment like ethno-state or apartheid state. I don't know, because I would, one person that I do trust, I think more so than my opinion on, is aristocracy, and she would actually say that it's worse than apartheid. And she is someone that is Jewish, and was more of a more religious Jewish background, and I don't know, like, again, there's a lot that I'm learning about it. But from what we can see, that there is a true inequity within the West Bank, and then nearly not complete free for all, but like complete destruction in Gaza. So, but to protect oneself, they are killing people with the gun. She would be wrong. There are valid arguments about Israel being an apartheid state. I would agree. That's my problem, Zeron. I'm happy to supply evidence. No, drunk physics. Join my Discord. I don't want to necessarily talk about it today because I'm not necessarily prepped there to talk about it today, if that's okay. But DM me in Discord and we'll talk and we'll have you on. Is that okay? If that's something that you'd be interested in?
That's what you do.
I need to understand more about it. I won't deny that. So let me do some of my own research as well, and then we can come on and talk about it. Would that be something you'd be down to do? Sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, DM me. I'm on Discord. We'll talk and we'll talk about that, okay?
State. Fuck this dystopia. We're fucking gun control. And by
Why do you
that,
feel
we're
bad,
fucking
Parrot?
authoritarian regimes.
That sounds good.
Likelihood
Thanks,
a police
Drunk
officer
Physics.
is going to see this when it goes out. It's probably going to make a splash. I mean, they're going to want to find you. What's your thoughts on that?
No,
Evidence of the state.
it seems as though your conclusion is coming before your arguments. I would agree with that. There's a lot that we can tell between the evictions and things like that that have turned into this aspect of an apartheid state. It's actually why someone like aristocracy talks about actually a two-state solution, because she doesn't know if a one-state solution would only end up with what we have now. And that tends to be an issue. I also feel very weird talking about this. I feel very like high and mighty coming from like my not First Nations, excuse me. But you know, my global north countries talking about like how things should be done in the Middle East. I don't pretend to know everything that's going on or even barely understand the mixing and the hard conflicts between Muslim and Jewish cultures, but there is an issue there that hold on real quick. That's the main issue with bias. Yeah, played a lot of this before in the last stream. Excuse me. I know, and I like I said before, like I apologize for that. Like part of that was because I was also playing Valheim at the time. I wasn't necessarily fully ready for. I was trying to experiment like how I could do more political content while gaming. There's some things I can do, but some things that are really hard to attend to, and that's why it was actually very hard to attend to your guys' conversation. Why it was hard for me to meet you guys in the middle. So I apologize for that. Don't be, so long as you listen to the actual voices effective with an open mind, then you're being responsible to your voice. Thank you, Zeron. And I do think I try to do that, and I want to continue doing that. I think it's important to understand that neither, as in with most things, no one is completely innocent of anything. And I think that's a very fair and appropriate way to view these things. I think the biggest thing, and I think you'll hear me say over and over again, drunk physics, is who has the power to end it. And I think Israel really does have the power to do so right now. Just as the US has a power to end what it's doing on Guantanamo Bay and in Iraq, Afghanistan, not necessarily Iraq, but Afghanistan. So that doesn't just go to Israel. You know what I mean? I look forward to having an open debate on this topic. Me too. Like I said, like that way it will give me some time to do some research. It'll give us some time to set something up when we both have better time. I'm totally about to do it. I would very much enjoy the conversation, and I hope to look at it as a conversation where hopefully we both learn something. You know, that'd be really cool. What video are we on? We're still on plastic defense, secret 3D printed guns in Europe. I would agree Israel has the greater responsibility. I'm not sure about ability. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, actually. Because it definitely has a greater responsibility in form of power, but I understand what you mean by ability, because will Hamas end? Will they stop when they are very radical? You know what I mean? So I definitely understand from that aspect.
If they want to take my life away, if they want to take my rights away,
I think that's a very valid point.
I'm not going to go down without any fight.
And would you say you're encouraging people, like you want other people to do what you're doing?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Just look at the world, man.
You don't think that's like reckless at all?
No. If the government actually went extremely tyrannical, look at fucking Afghanistan. Look at fucking Vietnam. Look how it was.
I think the biggest thing, though, drunk physics, is figuring out. I think, like I said before, and it has to be tactical. I don't think that the Jewish, or excuse me, my apologies, the Israeli government is going to just feel comfortable doing, similar to the US, is let people live a little bit more peacefully, especially when in regards to Proletariat Parrot. Thank you for the subscription. That means so much. No, seriously, I know you've been coming around here. Thank you so much for subscribing. But I do think the end of it is the best way to do is slowly trying to push peace and letting people have land. But obviously it gets a lot more complicated than that. You know what I mean?
Fucking AK, some ammo and shit.
Miz, you're not wrong. That Hamas and stuff is gonna still do Hamas shit. Oh, by the way, Juno, I just saw that you had gifted that sub, so thank you so much. You really got to pay more attention to who's buying the subs, man. I know, but like I can't see it when I look over to the left to look at it on my other screen. It only shows who's subscribed, but then I have to look down and I missed that it was a gifted or something like that. So I apologize. Juno, thank you so much for gifting that sub, and Parrot, thank you for being so grateful about it. Israel has tried giving land and has worked with Egypt and Jordan, but Palestinians have never had any real interest. And that's something that you mentioned that I want to take a look, a deeper look at. So if you have some great sources and info on that, I'm more than happy to look at it.
Will to fucking take down the machine.
Yeah, it does
You
pop
see
up
what I'm
weird.
talking about? Like, come on, give me better arguments, man.
No, right, but okay, here's a better argument. Imagine if someone 3D printed what you've created and then shot someone you love for no reason.
That would affect you. That is something that I have to accept.
Really?
It's a risk that I have to accept. Fuck that shit. It's about universal rights. Just like saying, oh, because somebody cussed me out and my feelings are hurt, the freedom of speech should no longer exist.
It's not the same as that. There's killing. Killing is the ultimate act of taking some freedom.
Freedom of speech. It's so essential.
This is not speech.
It is to protect
sure
my
it's not
freedom of
speech.
speech. Do you not understand how this principle works? To protect all other human rights, you need something to protect these rights. Without the ability to protect yourselves and without to fight against
It's
some
26
tyrannical
minutes, but I
force,
paused a
how the
lot,
fuck
so
are
I
you gonna
apologize.
Keep your fucking rights, man. Think about it.
That's the way you see it, huh?
I mean, that's what it is. Just look at the fucking world. Everything else is cowardice.
I mean, to you do this all the time. To
I
me,
gotcha. I
it's
don't know
shocking.
that struggle yet. By the way, he's saying about knowing about people subscribing and seeing who does.
You know,
The problems that I'm having with supplying sources to you is I don't want claims of bias, so I'd rather you did your own research so I don't get accused of source corruption. No, and I think that's I understand where you're coming from with that. You prepare your own sources, and like I said, we can DM each other in chat. Like it's totally fine. You can give me like some of them ahead of time. That way, like this way, it's kind of a little bit more of a fair. I don't want to say fight, but like you can say like what you're looking at, and then I can look at anything that might be debunking it or not. That way, when we can come together, it's like okay, we can hit point by point. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna just totally dismiss. Unless it's from I might look at something that's like from the Jerusalem Post as maybe a little biased, but like the same thing with the New York Times, right? New York Times is a little biased about a lot of things. It just depends on what. So I mean, there's generally a similar truth being hidden amongst all those stories. You know what I mean? Some of it may be a little exaggerated here and there, but like trust me, I also work in journalism. Some things I know you might send I might be a little weird about, but like you can do the same critiques on my sources as well. Like to deal with facts and logic more than opinion. No, that's awesome. No, I'm for it. That's fine with me. Totally. There's times where the guy with the gun just seems a bit unhinged. Yeah. As long as there's facts behind the bias, it's worth at least looking back.
So
No,
easy,
exactly.
really. I mean,
and that's what I mean. Like, I don't believe that like you can do real journalism without any bias. Bias is essential to also gathering stories. So there's something important about bias as well to be said about it.
now I know you're very good technically, but with your instructions, I could learn this. Anyone could learn this.
Totally could. Any average Joe could learn this in a matter of weeks. Components you can buy everywhere else online, and then you can make your own ammo, even in this fucking dystopia of Europe. And the gun you can make anyway. I mean, the gun is easy to make in Europe.
What's up, Mephistopheles? Good seeing you again. Hiya to you too. I think someone gifted you a sub, or I can't remember if you got the sub, but you're sub now. So much. Historical politics. So if you need help on either of those, tell me. No, absolutely, Parrot. That's something that would definitely be useful to me. We should if you're in the it was gifted, yeah, but no, I remember that. But welcome to the gang. Welcome to the Underwater Debate Club. No, Parrot, this is definitely something I'd be interested in. We should definitely talk. You can hit me up in politics or anywhere in our Discord. I'm guessing he isn't playing PLA, maybe BTG. Could handle the forces. Shouldn't presents facts without bias. That's actually a very interesting question. Actually, I know a YouTube video that will do it better than I can. So I actually did a TikTok on this. A lot of people didn't necessarily like it. Watch this next.
Live free or fucking die.
Me burning them publicly at some of the shopping centers around me. Oh, that should be fun.
Jay Stark is by far one of the most dangerous people I've ever met, and his extremist firearms ideology is spreading. We know for a fact that he's not the only one building so-called
doing any kind of
downloadable
training
guns.
For it because he watched too many James Bond movies. Yeah, I definitely get that vibe.
With the help of deterrence dispense.
Maybe some Trump flags also.
Meanwhile, authorities seem to have little understanding of how advanced 3D printed guns have gotten. As we've seen, they shoot rapidly and they don't explode when firing. As Jay Stark says, deterrence dispense technology could be used to combat authoritarian regimes, but it could also easily fall into the wrong hands, and if it does, many innocent people could die.
So, I was talking earlier. You do know you can 3D print guns. Yeah, that's exactly what this whole video was about. Hold on. I want to show you guys something. Look at that, dude. This is some fan art. It is from, I will say, since they said I could, this is from Juno, which I think is super fucking dope. Yeah, it's super fucking hype. Some fan art of Seaweed Chan, our channel's mascot and avatar. I think they said that I knew it. I had the feeling it came from Juno. Yeah, dude, I think this is so dope. I've been wanting to post in the Discord. I just saw this colored version of it today. I didn't know you drew Juno. That's awesome. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this came out so cool. I think it's gonna be my Twitch PFP for a little while. I buy a bunch of Confederate, Nazi, Trump, and KKK flags and burn them on the courthouse steps. Fuck yeah, based. Actually, making me blush. No, dude, it was so badass. The fact that you're digitizing this too, once it's done, this will probably, I'm probably gonna make this my PFP now, but also like later on as well. Let me, like once you digitize it and stuff. I think this is so cool. Like you don't have no fucking clue. I could do that too. The county courthouse is close to by to me as well. Dude, that's dope. That'd be based. I'm not telling you what to do, but let me where was I gonna check? Oh right. I want to go to channel. Computer dashboard. Settings, stream channel. Dude, that's dope. Okay, hold on. Now my PFP is the fan art. That's so badass. Round hands up for Juno, guys.